In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing Season 11 of American Horror Story. This season is titled New York City, or NYC. Now, the title of this season wasn't announced until 3 weeks before the premiere date. Now, the premiere date for this was October 19th, 2022 on FX, next day streaming on Hulu. This runs for 10 episodes. Here's the catch. This season is only 5 weeks long, with 2 episodes per week. So it's going to be a quick season. And the first episode, titled Something's Coming, is really interesting. And you just get the gist of what's happening in this new season of American Horror Story. Now, American Horror Story has been up and down for the past 11 years. There have been aspects where people love certain seasons, people don't love certain seasons. And the topic of this season is that a serial killer is on the loose and hunting homosexuals in the 1980s in New York City in the gay community. Now, what I like about this episode and what I like about this season so far is that it's very different than what you usually see in American Horror Story. Like, how can the horror aspect be put and thrown into this? Well, let me tell you, it's really interesting and really in your face with certain aspects. The trailers weren't released that much. I mean, usually it's months in advance before we get the idea of what a season's going to be in American Horror Story. The aspect of what the teaser posters were and how everything was played out was interesting, because some of the trailers and some of the posters really don't play into the season, but so far with this, they have. Now, it tells the story of Russell Tovey's character, Patrick Reed, who is a detective, who is a closeted homosexual or a gay man. And he and his partner, Gino, played by Joe Mantello's character of Gino is a reporter. So Gino is trying to write about the aspect of the gay community being hunted down by a serial killer. Not only that, we have Billy Lord, who plays Hannah Wells, and trying to figure out what's going on with the deer population. Now, the underlining subject to this is that I feel like they're touching base where the deer kind of are the ones that kind of started the AIDS epidemic in the 1980s, but they're not really saying what it is. But if you actually follow the gist of it, it kind of subtly says that's what it is. Now, meanwhile, not only that, we have Dennis O'Hare, who plays Henry, who frequents a bar and, just has a drink and everything. And we have Charlie Carver, who plays Adam Carpenter, and he is basically trying to figure out what happened to his roommate, who his roommate has to go out, sell some drugs, make some money, and he evidently disappears. The episode starts off really subtly where a captain who flies a plane is going to is going in for the night, but he puts on his leather outfit, goes out. Next morning, something happens to him. Now, the aspect of everything that's happening is really interesting. The dialogue is really well done in this first episode. The understanding of what's happening in this entire first, how do I say, 45 minutes of it is really well done. Each episode is an hour long, or 45 minutes to an hour long. Now, not only that, we have different characters coming in as well. Zachary Quinto is in this, and who plays Sam, who plays an interesting kind of partner to Theo. And Theo is a photographer who captures great photography, black and white photography, and frequents certain areas and gay bars. And it's really interesting. The character of Gino Borelli is probably my favorite character so far in a really long time in an American Horror Story season. The way Joe Mantello gives this performance is absolutely fantastic. The purity of it, the aspect of how, his character is this macho guy while he's trying to get his partner, Patrick, the detective, to come out. He works in these police precincts while everything's going on. And we know that in the 1980s, it was very hard for a man who was gay to come out and say that they were homosexual. It was, frowned upon and everything. And they show that in a way where he doesn't say he is, but so he's trying to hide it and trying to act like a straight man. But Gino kind of tells him you need to actually stand up for yourself and say that you are. It's really interesting, and the dynamic is really good. The flow is really good with how everything happens in each scene. The cinematography is probably the best I've seen in an American Horror Story season since the very first season, which was Murder House. The way everything is captured with the luminescent of the bars, the nightclub scenes, the leather, the bondage, and then figuring out the handkerchief code, what the blue, the yellow, the light blue, and some other aspects of this entire culture means. It's really, really fantastic and eye-opening. And some people and fans might find this season to be shock-worthy or very too, touchy of a subject or risque or get political about it. Who gives a flying shit and a fuck about it? Because this is an in-your-face season of American Horror Story. And Ryan Murphy didn't hold back at all. Now, from what I did hear, this season is taken inspiration from the Al Pacino movie called Cruising, which I believe came out in the 1980s, if I'm not mistaken. And in that movie, he played a detective going around undercover who was basically trying to find a killer killing homosexuals. And Cruising is actually loosely based on a novel of the same name by New York Times reporter Gerald Walker about a serial killer targeting gay men, particularly those associated with in the leather scene in the 1970s. The double entendre because is cruising can describe both police officers on patrol and men who are cruising for sex. So that's what that is. It's very interesting to understand what's happening, who the killer is, and the touching basis of who the serial killer is. It's really, really fantastic and how it's done. I love this first episode because it really grabbed hold of the essence of the culture, the subject matter, and the story. And you see a lot of new faces in this season and a lot of old faces from previous American Horror Story seasons, and it's really good. Patti LuPone plays Kathy, who is a singer at one of the bathhouses. That whole aspect is really in there, and it's just an entertaining first episode, and it's really well done. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the Season 11, Episode 1 premiere of American Horror Story NYC or New York City. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? And where do you see this season going? And do you like the aspect of it being 2 episodes a week for 5 weeks, bringing the total to 10 episodes in this season? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked about episode 1 of season 11 of American Horror Story. And I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you click this box right here for my episode 2 review of American Horror Story New York City right now.